Hello all, I hope you're doing well today. I've been a bit cynical on this channel about Donald Trump's second term as US President, but recent actions from the US Oval Office have made people like me put their feet in their mouths. That's because I think he's done something absolutely seismic. I am referring, of course, to Trump confronting South African President Cyril Ramaphosa with the alleged genocide of white farmers in the country. Now, to be clear, why this is so seismic isn't because of the issue of the white farmers, as important as that may be. It's because what it represents to the prevailing liberal order of the age. Now, a key theme on this channel is that man has to live by a mythology, something that informs to him the nature of good and evil. And given we've destroyed the Western tradition in the modern world, or at least it's been destroyed depending on how you see it, it means that we think we live in this post-mythological age, but the reality is quite opposite. Today we have counterfeit versions of good and evil, counterfeit versions of Jesus and Satan. Namely, Satan is represented by Adolf Hitler, and anything that's seen as non-liberal is always edging towards Hitler. So you're not just wrong, you're seen as evil if you're not liberal. Meanwhile, the Christ figure is represented by Nelson Mandela in the liberal mythology. Their story tells of an unblemished, innocent black man persecuted for his humanity and dream of equality by an evil white ignorance that still lives on in us today. So when Trump challenges Ramaphosa, it's not just about the white farmer murders, terrible as they are. It's a direct challenge to the absolute foundations of the liberal worldview. Remember, according to the liberal worldview, South Africa should be the absolute zenith of humanity, the post-racial society, economically well-off and socially harmonious. But the reality is that it's not, and the liberals have struggled for years to find excuses as to why. Predatory loans, the after effects of apartheid, racism to this day, and so on and so on. They'll do anything to ignore the obvious corruption and mismanagement of the ANC, as well as the very shaky foundations of their own worldview. Ergo, they prefer to just ignore South Africa. That's why we don't hear so much about it in this day and age. So when Donald Trump decides to bring in the president of South Africa and show him the real evidence of farm murders going on in South Africa, it's not exactly something the liberal media and the liberal world take kindly to.
Excuse me, turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers. And those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross. And there's approximately 1,000 of them.
Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noted on the screen the TV report utilised the word ambushed here in their report as to what Trump was doing to Ramaphosa. And many have pointed out it's as if a memo went out immediately after this to tell all of the MSM to utilise that verb.
The tense confrontation, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
Up next, another Oval Office meltdown. President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
President Trump is being accused of conducting something of a diplomatic ambush of South Africa's president in the Oval Office.
To be with you, I'm Katie Tur. President Trump orchestrated another Oval Office ambush.
And it's no better in good old Blighty either, or at least what's left of it. Here's the BBC. Trump ambushes South African president in Oval Office. And The Guardian. Trump ambushes South African president with video and false claims of anti-white racism. Now, you don't exactly need a PhD in media manipulation to know that this is a case of reframing at hand. Donald Trump is making a moral and emotive case for the sake of the farmers, but the liberal mainstream media cannot allow that, so it's immediately obfuscating. It's framing Trump as the evil, racist, bad guy ambushing the innocent bunny Ramaphosa who wouldn't hurt a fly. This is also why both The Guardian and the BBC are saying that Ramaphosa kept his, quote, cool during, quote, Trump's orchestrated show. The Guardian and the BBC do try and pretend they don't share the same editorial line, but watch when anything gets emotive, they will say the same thing. And as a little extra for those who enjoy reading the media narratives, note when it's someone they like who doesn't respond, they say they're keeping their cool. When someone does respond, they say they're being bullied and that they're defending the honour of their country. Remember, none of this is about the truth or reporting what's going on. It's about framing certain stories to suit the liberal mythology of the age. Although, to be fair, this is getting so obvious, even the centrist dad might be able to figure this one out. Here's The Guardian again. Sinister Trump dims the lights for another White House ambush like a Bond villain, startling guests with noxious gas. But look, the core point of this video isn't the actual farm murders themselves, terrible as they are, and I can't affirm or deny whether a genocide is going on. It seems to me that something very wrong is up. The liberal media tends to lie about everything, so don't trust them either, and you'll be called far-right and racist if we even take an interest in the topic, which probably tells you all you need to know. The real point I'm trying to make is that what Donald Trump has done here isn't just challenge Ramaphosa, he's challenged the very foundations of the liberal system itself. I might even go as far as to say he's exposed the innate hypocrisy of those foundations. Trump is exposing swathes of Western normies to the harsh reality of what's really going on in South Africa and what that implies for the wider Western world in the future. And it's very interesting seeing the liberal media try to scramble to get back control of the narrative that they are inevitably losing.
Larry, has been debate over that song, that anti-apartheid chant, right? And for people who don't have a historical context, it does potentially appear more literal.
And what's the song that this loving, tolerant and kind liberal could be talking to?
Alliance, shoot to kill, Gaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, brr, pa, pa, brr, pa. Attention.
These people are completely morally bankrupt now. They don't have a leg to stand on. What they're promoting is inhumane. Apartheid ended 30 years ago, and you can't maintain this narrative that blacks are the victims when you have a stadium full of them screaming for the murder of white people. I mean, the nerve to try and frame it as an anti-racist and liberation song. I mean, it's not exactly Blowing in the Wind by Bob Dylan, is it?
Kill the poor! The farmer!
And this is the key. This isn't so much about the farm murders, brutal, horrible and deserving of recognition as they are. It's about the mounting moral case against the liberal worldview and exposing how many of these liberals in power are effectively becoming what they claim to be against. If we take away the detail and look at the essence, we have the story of a minority group in a very violent and dangerous country, a group that's endured many attacks and murders, one where there are stadiums full of people calling for their death. This should be a cause that the left, the supposedly tolerant and loving left, should be all over. But they're not, because they can't be, because their ideology dictates that white people are not worthy of genuine moral consideration like other groups. White people are the eternal oppressor, now and always. And this is why I think what Donald Trump has done is so seismic. It's not just because he's calling out the farm murders, it's because he's making a moral countercase to the prevailing liberal orthodoxy. And it's this that is the key of our age, in my view. It's too easy to dismiss these concerns when you have some snarling, foaming at the mouth maniac, somebody who hates other groups simply for existing, someone who uses political causes as a vector for their own shortcomings and failings in life. To my mind, this is how a reawakening of the West begins. It starts in righteousness, justice, truth, morality. That really can bring a new tomorrow and awaken the hearts of millions of people around the Western world. As always, these are just my thoughts. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel if you're new.